And we are live. Welcome to episode I forgot of DCP Live. This week, we've got Jay Sniperton on the show. Welcome, Jay.
Yo, glad to be
we got Lego on the show.
Pew pew.
Hello, I've got nothing to yell about yet. Welcome.
Well, just wait for Watts to start talking. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
We got lots of
really bringing the energy. You guys were so laughing and joking around in the pre-show.
All right, shield us. See, what does it mean, Mylan? Poo, ping, poo. There you go. Research the fanny, Mylan.
If you don't know, biggest news is the Destiny player base is going to be absolutely scrapped in PvE because nobody's going to know where to shoot because the new shields, it looks like a Vision, and basically the Destiny player base has no idea what that looks like, so they're just never going to see it.
There you go. You all got nerfed. Take that, PvE players.
You got nerfed. You'd be like, huh? What is this?
I'm not that rude. We'll get there eventually. Don't worry.
Yeah, anyway, shield changes look very odd. I don't like it.
They're bad.
I don't like change.
I should say, I personally do not find them visually appealing compared to the one we currently have.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, it's we're gonna get to it, but it's fine. Like the reasons for it is to increase visual clarity for people who have issues with color blindness or other, and you know that's a great reason to make a change. But aesthetically, I don't like it.
Counterpoint.
Vagina.
Counterpoint. I actually have seen a lot of people who have visual seizures saying that this shield is actually significantly worse for their issue because the aura of their seizure looks very similar to that. So it's actually going to be really difficult for them to look at the shield. So I'm hoping something can be done because clearly a lot of people don't like the way it looks. I'm sure there's got to be a better way to, make shields easier for the combatants team to deal with the shields, because that was another reason is it's just easier for them to handle the shields under the hood. And for colorblind options, it was better. I'm hoping they can come up with something else.
I mean, I assume there is like a way that they go through testing when they do things for like visual accessibility. Like I would hope that there is a group of people that they ask to review stuff or that there's some sort of process for doing that. But be a bit of a shame to hear people find it worse.
Yeah,
especially for seizures, right?
Yeah,
like seizures is bad,
and that's
bad.
kind of the thing that Bungie's had issues with in the past, right? When they did visual updates,
yes,
they had a lot of flashing lights and stuff like that. There was one update that made it really difficult.
I'm so down just to tone it all down because there's definitely been a period of Destiny getting like more and more abilities and more bombastic abilities that I'm like, I can't see what's happening.
I do feel like
that's true.
They had to do some kind of outline sort of thing because it was clear that like the shield had a lot of detail to it, and if they tried to simplify that, then it would just look really bad. I feel like if we went from something complicated and nice, so they had to do some kind of outline thing. So I get why they did it the way that they did, but I'm with y'all that it would have been so much nicer. They could
do some kind of toggle, like in the settings.
But if they did a toggle, then that would eliminate them having so many enemies, it taking up so many resources. I think they're wanting to put even more enemies on the field, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think like that. To save resources for sure.
That's the thing, yeah.
Make things more efficient.
Yeah, part of it was that they hadn't updated. I think that when we get to the 12, it will say it, but I think it was since 2017 or something like that. And they were trying to, do a couple of things, which was update the shields, more enemies, and then obviously consider accessibility when they did it. So
I do want to mention before we get going too into it today is that Firing Range did have an episode last night. They actually had the Bungie developers. They had Mercules and was it Eric Smith on
from the abilities.
They got deep into new abilities and weapons.
Yes.
So we're probably going to hit some highlights out of that, but we're going to let Firing Range do Firing Range. And definitely point you toward that. That's currently available now on Patreon. It'll be up in the regular podcast feed and on YouTube on Saturday morning.
If you need a link for that, just ask Brian.
He's
got the link
to
the
you
good
within 3 days.
Yeah, it's and of course, like the weapon changes preview came out on Wednesday, so it was perfect timing for the Bungie devs to be there and really go into detail with all of that. So they're gonna do way better than we could with an actual dev there to clarify everything.
Yeah. Right.
So
they
we
went
have
in
the twomp.
deep.
They did.
They really
Yeah,
did.
like,
It was nice to see
Cammy's
Mercules again.
questions are
It's always
so
fun to see
good. Oh my
Mercules.
goodness.
Yeah,
It is.
right.
Cammy's like, so if I turn 2.5 degrees on a Wednesday with my gun, and
on a full moon,
I love your questions, Cammy, but we're gonna tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, Cammy's great. They're all great. They did an incredible job.
They did a great job. One thing about that show too that's interesting for what we'll cover today, if we get to any of the exotic changes. There are some things on the exotic change list, like the weapons preview for season 21 that they released on Wednesday, that they talked about more weapons in the firing range episode that they didn't talk about in the Wednesday thing. So if you're worried like, oh, my favorite weapon didn't get touched or something like that, like it's not, the updates, like the blog stuff is usually not all inclusive. Like they talked about specifically the Le Monarch nerf, with it getting lightweight damage and the smoke time getting cut in half. So it's getting a nerf, but they didn't talk about that in the season 21 weapons change preview. So just a heads up, if you're like, if you read something, you're like, oh, well, wait, this thing's still a problem. It might still be getting addressed in season 21.
Yeah, we don't normally get the full picture until the actual patch notes. This is always just a little preview kind of highlight of stuff. And
also along with that, I wanted to shout out, there was another podcast, the PVE Cast, Player versus Enemies. It's like a branch of Destiny Massive Breakdowns. They interviewed some of the PVE team, Chris Proctor and another dev too. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on names right now, but it was specifically over PVE, not PvP, which firing range did. And one of the things they talked about, we just mentioned, which was the cluttering of the screen. They talked about in the future doing a rework of the debuff buff UI that you see on screen, all the buffs that you get, and like cleaning that up. They don't have a timeline on the rework, but they've got changes coming like in the pipeline.
That's very good.
Interesting. One thing they mentioned on firing range that I found really fascinating is that I think it was Eric Smith mentioned, well, they're not working on next season, right? When they're talking about Season of Deep, they've already got the season after Season of Deep finished, and they're working on the season after that. I was like, oh man. So it's like any changes, I mean, unless there's an emergency, I'm sure that they have to like just like, you know,
just gotta bite the bullet,
tear into it, right?
Yeah.
But like any kind of like tweaks or like stuff that they want to change, that's still like 6 months away.
Yeah, you have to pull resources from, you know, whoever's working on the current, like the next release that they're working on, to pull them in to fix anything that's going on at the time. So it's all resource balancing. Let me tell you, I ran a girl pop group into the ground with my resource management, so I'd be terrible at it.
Did anybody get eaten?
Huh?
No, but Tefty beat me. Yeah, Tefty was killing it in the music charts.
That adds up.
That lines up, yeah.
Should we jump right into the TWAB? What do you guys want to start with today?
What else happened?
I don't know.
I want to talk more.
I was going to say, I'm working on Amanda Holiday lore video because I never covered her death when it happened, and my last video of the season until Season of the Deep.
Season of the Deep Bussy. It actually fits really well with what they're doing with shields now.
Let me ask you this question: would you be okay if Amanda Holiday was revived as a Guardian?
Yes.
Or do you think
only if she's a rootin' tootin' Guardian?
Well, yeah, she keeps a basic personality, I guess.
She'll be the Tex Mechanica Guardian that brings a new Tex Mechanica subclass to the game. Rootin' tootin'.
Because it's not going to be like
I was very. What's that?
It's not going to be like the Crow version of Amanda Holiday, right?
Unless she's evil, the opposite.
I've been hearing a lot of like, unless she's evil kind of stuff. I don't know where it's coming from.
I think it came from me.
You've been spreading rumors
Guardian.
The only bummer about it is if like we get that, but we don't get our Warmind resurrected as a Guardian, because that felt such an easy grab, like, and it's such a cool character, but it had such a finish that it's fine the way that it is. I don't feel like, but Amanda does feel very unfinished. Like it felt very rushed.
She does.
So in that sense,
it felt very, yeah.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, nah, don't bring it back. It's just going to make it worse and cheapen what they've already done with it. Like, you know, I felt it was a bit cheap in the first place because they just really put her at the front and center just to kill her off. And it was like Bungie hasn't typically done that. And then Lifeall comes along and you like, Rohan dies, you don't even care about it. And then Amanda's like, oh, cool, we get Amanda back. Like, she's a great character. Bang, dead turns. Like, wait, what is going on? And I was like, nah, don't bring it back. And then I've been working on this video about Amanda, and it was meant to be a quick video because I was like, oh, I need something to do before next season. And then literally a week later, 45 pages of research on. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of information about Amanda, her backstory, the chaperone. I even watched a Datto video from 7 years ago, which had the chaperone quest, and saw PvP from 7 years ago doing the chaperone quest.
Funny?
Like, how was that?
It is so funny. It is so slow compared to what we play now. It is insanely slow. Anyway, I'm all team Amanda Resurrection now. I think she would actually be a great way to bring the Vanguard back together. And she's got a great backstory, and she sort of need it back. But they're gonna have to do something with her memory. But Crow had it happen, and I think it'd be pretty ironic for like Amanda to go through the same paces that Crow did.
And then he can bully her. Like,
it'd have to be different somehow, right?
Bully.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the prospect of like the witness using her as a pawn or something against us?
I don't know. I mean, that would be interesting too. I think. Nothing really like suggests it, but going back now and looking, Bungie has planted a lot of seeds for people dying. Like Rasputin was obviously there. Like there was a lot of hints that Rasputin was going to go down. Now that we know Amanda dies, if you go back and look at like pretty much from like Season of Seraph, there's all these comments like basically to Elixir thinks she's Guardian. Like, oh, you're not a Guardian? Weird. You're not a Guardian? That's odd. Like Mithrax does it, and her like apprentice Elixir does it. And then there's just like this theme of like memory that always like a whole bunch of Amanda cards just talk about like being remembered, which obviously was probably a hint about her dying. But the weird thing is because of the way that they're written, they're either hinting at her dying or hinting at her becoming a Guardian, because it sort of can go both ways, because it's about dying and like resurrection sort of deal. So yeah.
Interesting. Very
Man,
interesting.
holiday.
Yeah, we'll see what they do.
That's cool that they're doing more with her, potentially, anyways. Like the idea of doing
more
with her.
After reading her story, I was like, I kind of want to go back, because they made a whole lore book about her this season. The Season of Defiance had a lore book about her mum and her dad and like what she witnessed journeying to the last city, and she's got all the Guardian attributes basically, and her funeral, Zavala, quotes the speakers, attributes of Guardians, like the bravery, sacrifice.
Hey, Mylan, how come there's no new speaker?
Because it should be Crow, and you hate Crow.
I do hate Crow. Why should it be Crow?
He actually has a dream. He actually has all the attributes of a potential speaker. He has dreams of the traveler.
So that's what the speaker is somebody who dreams that they talk to the traveler?
Yeah, they're basically...
That's how priesthood works? What's the problem?
Yeah, they pretty much had like kids and people that were growing up that had this like natural affinity and connection with the traveler during the Golden Age, and like ghosts and stuff would follow them around, and they would have dreams from the traveler's perspective. That's what all the dreams of Afalupi and dreams of the traveler are. And then they sort of trained them to become speakers, and then the collapse happened and they sort of got wiped out, I guess. Oh, well, everyone stopped dreaming. Basically, the collapse happened. The traveler went into like a slumber, and then everyone stopped feeling the connection with the traveler. Essentially,
now the traveler's awake.
Yeah, well, exactly. And then Aldrin or Crow had a dream and like was connected, so it was sort of going down that path of Crow becoming the next speaker, but it didn't go anywhere.
I imagine in lore it talks more about this, but as somebody who doesn't deep dive into lore, I feel like the speaker story felt kind of unfinished as well.
Yeah,
kind of true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I don't know if
he's
they just
not dead
planned.
still.
they just sort of planned for the whole Vanguard and leadership to sort of fall apart because they were sort of the governing body, I guess, was the consensus being the Vanguard team combined with the speaker. So that sort of all fell apart. And I think that's still relatively unresolved. Like they've been hinting at getting rid of the Vanguard. And that's why I think Amanda makes an interesting story because she could potentially glue that back together. Or they just need to sort of, maybe they will write Zavala out of the game now. That's potential too. And like they will properly abolish the Vanguard and the leadership in the tower.
You know what it kind of feels like is at the end of the Marvel movies right now, after the big like Infinity War stuff, there's been this extra phase. You're just like waiting to see what are they really going to do with this franchise. That's what this kind of feels like. It's like, okay, the Vanguard after we lost Cade, it's like, what's really happening here? What's going to take the place, or what are we going to move on to? And we haven't really moved on and nothing's taken the place. We're just kind of waiting for the leadership aspect to get figured out.
Yeah.
It feels kind of like similar to how the game feels as a whole, to be honest.
A bit of a holding space.
A little bit. Like it was so solid, so solid in D1, and you knew what you were fighting for and all this stuff, and now it just feels kind of so up in the air. It's really interesting to me how it fits with how the game as a whole feels.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because in D1 it very much was the battle of light and dark. They've definitely added more gray areas in Destiny 2, especially in the last 3 years. But with that gray area does mean that like it doesn't feel like we're just like heads down, just charging forward all the time. There's definitely some ambiguity.
Nuance,
doing. Yeah. And who's in charge, and are we doing the right thing at any particular point in time? The story's gotten better because of that, the story's gotten better because the writers are better, or they're writing better stories.
They're allowed to, at least.
Yeah.
Who knows what goes on? Leadership can always be like, "Hey, stop that! Put that down. You don't have a license.
Put that pencil down. You don't have a pen license."
I noticed in the TWAB that the new Strand Aspects are going to give more information on the Veil. The Veil. The Veil.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
So make sure you get your Strand Aspects to understand Lightfall.
I still don't have all done. I have like 3 left.
Oh,
I replayed the Lightfall campaign on my Warlock to unlock Strand, and I realized how many of you there are actually cheating in Destiny 2 by using Warlock's Starfire protocol. You should be disgraced of yourself.
Join us.
I've been saying this about
Warlock. I can't believe that was untouched for so long. What the hell's going on?
I actually had a Gambit. I've been playing a bunch of Gambit at the end of the season because I'm trying to grind out certain weapons and it's double XP week and all this stuff. But I had a moment where I invaded and I killed the entire other team with a blade barrage except for one guy sitting in a Warlock rift or a Warlock well. And so I threw the blade barrage at him, and then I had the dynamite from the hunter aspect, threw the dynamite, threw a throwing knife, and then continued to shoot him with my gun, and he never died, and and he didn't even turn to look at me. He just kept shooting the boss until I got teleported back, and I was like,
seriously.
What is this?
That's how I feel when I'm using the Strand Hunter Super in the Crucible, and I'm just like swinging furiously, and everyone's just like, I can just tickle your little tootsies and you're gonna die. I pop that super and people sprint at me. The whole team is like running away when I've got my guns. I pop the super and they're like, ooh, I can kill this person.
Starfire was definitely in need of a bit of a nerf, and I actually hadn't played Warlock until like yesterday, since that was a very huge, and it was just the boss damage you could do with Starfire in a well. It was just absolutely insane with Scorch and Ignitions and and then if you just literally put a demo rocket launcher on there, just very easily always top DPS. So I'm glad they addressed that.
Always kind of need to, right? There's always going to be something that's really strong. You let it be strong for a bit, and then you knock it down, and something else gets strong, and that's usually how most game balance works. Is you can't ever achieve perfect balance. You just have to keep switching what's strong.
Yeah, exactly.
Us Warlocks need as much help as we can get, Mylan. Right?
You did get snuffed right at the end there with Guardian Games.
How did so many Warlocks invade this podcast? We worked so hard for so many years.
Well, speaking of that, Briar, did you see on Twitter that someone asked if it was you on Twitter because they saw Briar Rabbit in Destiny on a Warlock?
Were you playing the game? Right?
Secret.
He's giggling. Were you on your Warlock, Briar?
We should probably get to the swab.
I was like, is it Briar Rabbit using all blue gear? This could be Briar. This could be Briar on his Warlock.
So they gave us a too long didn't read of kind of a list of season 21 changes, which is kind of like a recap of prior TWABs, right? But it's like meant to, I think, refresh us because I'll be honest with you, I forget what was in last week's TWAB like almost immediately.
Yeah, it's kind of good.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff that they list out here. It's insane. Like how much they've gone over week after week.
Right. They even tell you which TWAB it's in, which is kind of nice. If you like,
it is nice.
How's this work?
I kind of like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is good. Should we go through some of it?
Yeah. I'll start with the economy updates.
Yeah, go on.
So Rahul exotic engram focusing. You can decrypt or focus exotic engrams with tier 1 and tier 2 options. Weapon deep sight activation. There's a new currency called deep sight harmonizer. And changes to crafting costs. Legendary shards are no longer required.
Thank you.
I think what we can also do is just summarize the outrage with each of these swabs. So like most people like these except for the actual economy changes, which is like I'm pretty sure tier 2 exotics like engrams cost you an exotic cipher, and the deep sight harmonizer, I think that also cost you an exotic cipher, didn't it?
Really?
No, the deep sight harmonizer is even
it's a
worse.
new one.
The deep sight harmonizer
currency,
is only found in the season pass.
Pass,
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Wait, the one that you pay for? Or like
both. There's like 3 in the free and 2 in the paid or something like that.
They did say they're going to increase ways you can get that, but when it rolls out, it's going to be quite limited.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, like, I mean, it's pretty classic Bungie. It's like good mechanics, painful to actually like use.
Bungie,
like everyone like likes the
mechanic. Stop it. Like, it's fine. It's going to be okay. I swear to God. If you give more players a way to get, like, Ascendant Shards and stuff, it's going to be okay.
They're not going to leave.
What are we going to be
already
using
too deep.
Legendary Shards for, though, at this point? I have, like, 20-some-odd thousand at this point.
Legendary shard? Oh, man. You haven't been focusing stuff, have you? I got weapons to chase.
Do you know how many shards Lego has stolen from my hands due to his stupid fusion rifle video?
I'm so sorry.
No, it's good. It's great. I got to say, Lego is one of the few content creators that actually gets me excited to grind for weapons.
Aww.
Because you always do the thing where you're not just showing me like the best. You're showing me something that's a little fun, a little kooky sometimes, and like you have to do a little bit extra work to make things work, but it's really fun when you pull it off. And that's like, that's what I'm all about. So yeah, I was like, oh, God damn it, the Wizened Rebuke, son of a bitch.
Have you guys tried the Cascade Point Scout yet?
Yes.
A little bit, not much.
Oh man, it's so much fun.
I've been meaning to like try to do what you said and have all of them on Cascade.
Yeah.
And just like do like a ultimate burst damage, like I don't know, champ burner or something, and just like rotate through all of them with someone using div or something like that. Because you can definitely craft some weapons that have Cascade on them, can't you?
You know, I think so.
The
yes.
Season of Defiance has some Cascade, and so does Neomuna weapons as well.
A lot of the heavy ones though are like RNG, like the machine guns or like from the dungeon or the Trials of Osiris one. I'm not sure you can craft a heavy one. And then the energy weapon slot one, if you want a primary energy weapon slot, the only one that has it is a world drop called Coronach 22. And it's just a random, maybe you get it sort of thing. It's so rare. But yeah, there are like craftable, like the shotgun, Aikilo's shotgun can get it. You can craft that, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the other thing I noticed, because I was mucking around with this Strand rifle with Cascade, which feels like a very fun perk to use. And grenade launchers were counting as precision kills. Like I was using grenade launcher.
And you don't need precision kills. That's the thing. So it's either a kill
precision hits
or precision hits. Yeah. It was counting as precision hits. I think you're getting kills, probably.
Mine's like,
the kills it's kills, or I thought it was just precision hit.
Yeah.
Nah, it's either.
Okay, that's why I was proccing with the grenade launcher. Copy that.
So that's what's fun about it in PvP is you can use a shotgun or a fusion rifle, get a kill, and then you swap to the scout and you use it like an SMG. Like you just 0.54 seconds. Yeah.
It is nutty. It's also the recoil is pretty on the scout anyway. It was pretty insane in PvE. It was like just so bounce everywhere.
Try hip firing it. I know it's dumb, like because like how often are you really? But I get kills surprisingly often by just jumping in the air and hip firing it down at people.
Yeah, I think that would work.
Pretty fun.
Nice.
The next topic was weapons sandbox tuning. I'm going to just read this one. During Season 20, we introduced a lot of changes to weapons, as well as special reticle that better represent the perks and different firing patterns that some of them have. We're doubling down on that for Season 21 with more informative and more visible reticles at high field of view for fusion rifles, hand cannons, sidearms, and trace rifles, as well as special ones for several exotics like Devil's Ruins, Charged Shot, or Lumina's Noble Rounds. There are also some exotic buffs. Worldline Zero is back, reworks, Salvation Grip, some nerfs, Thunderlord was cheating a bit, and some damages fixes. Winterbite was scolded. And of course, there's also adjustment to some legendary archetypes and perks. You can read all about it in the weapon preview article that went live on Wednesday. That's mainly what Firing Range is talking about. Yeah.
Make sure to check it out.
I do want to say you go ahead, Mylan. I'll say that.
No, go.
I was just going to say there's two things that I don't think they cover on Firing Range and was in that article that they don't talk about here. One is they hint about Sparrow speed, like that always on time won't be the only Sparrow you have to use to be the fastest. There's going to be... They don't say what they're doing. They just say you'll be able to use any Sparrow you want, not just the Raid Sparrow, which is exciting.
That's good.
Yeah. So I don't know. The way they hinted at it almost made it sound like you were going to be able to like transmog Sparrows or something. I don't know. We'll see what they do. But
that's going to upset my Sparrow racing segment.
Well, because they said that always on time would still, like, it's still valuable. It's still worth having. They're not taking away its ability to go fast. So I'm not sure what that means. You'd still be able to use other stuff and it'd be good. So it's confusing, but we'll see what they do. And then the other two things were they talk about the Immortal nerf in there, Immortal SMG, which, so that way, if you're sick of seeing it, it's gonna get toned down a lot soon. So looking forward to that.
That is good. And Mercules, I think, also talked a little bit about like why that shipped and how that shipped, because they were like, we're nerfing these two really strong SMGs, and then they're like, week 1 of the season, well, of trials being in the season, here is like the strongest SMG. Why did that happen? So he did talk about that on the podcast as well, which was interesting.
I haven't gotten that.
Yes, those explanations were awesome.
Do you have a too long didn't watch version of why they?
It's basically just like learning from it.
Watch the show, Mylan.
Didn't realize that the perk combinations were going to be so crazy, and I think Target Lock also had a bug, right? It shipped with a bug that made it even stronger. So.
And they also talk about like wanting things to be strong when they come out. Like you want to go get a weapon. But when all those things add up together, it's like, oh, well, this is like too hot, but they also don't want to nerf it right away. You want weapons to have their time and, be fun. There's a fun factor. And Merc talks about that a lot at the end of the podcast, about the fun factor of things that are hot versus things that they nerf. It's not all about usage rates that they nerf stuff based off of how it's performing and how good people are with it, and how fun it is to use versus how angry you get when you're killed by it.
Exactly. Yeah. Like if there's a really strong gun that's not incredibly frustrating to play against, then that is less important to nerf than something that isn't used as much but is incredibly frustrating to play against.
So why has La Monarch been around for so goddamn
long? Nerfed, why? But true. Oh yeah, he did also say that because Immortal is a trials weapon, they're also more okay with trials weapons and raid weapons being a little bit hotter because it's a little bit harder to achieve them. So technically, they should flood the sandbox a lot less. There should be less of them because it's harder to get.
He did say
but
that
with
didn't necessarily
Immortal,
work
everyone
out.
was
Yeah.
like, "Woo! Everyone's got it. It's crazy."
While we're here, before we move on, I gotta say two things about the PVE cast that interviewed the PVE guys because they're huge changes that I think are worth mentioning here.
Yeah.
One of them is the future of enhanced perks. They said that they want to have every non-craftable weapon be able to have enhanced perks in the future, which
like
is
raid weapons.
Really?
No, not just every non-craftable weapon. So not just, it sounded like not just raid weapons.
Well, no, I mean like what they do with the raid weapons now, like
exactly.
the adept raid weapons that you can enhance perks on, right?
Yes, and that included weapons that like you grinded out your Gambit thing or whatever, or Crucible, and then you get a drop that has multiple perks, and then you could enhance multiple of those perks. So it was a really interesting conversation there as well about that thing. I don't know. I just thought that it was an interesting thing to bring up because I was like, oh, I didn't hear that anywhere else. It's just like random future stuff that they're considering working on.
You know what I would love to hear some comment on is armor stats and Artifice armor, because it feels like everything is absolute trash tier unless you're doing Artifice armor, and Artifice armor drops right now are like very low stats compared to what you could farm before. That's what I would love to hear about.
And
I feel like that's like in the shadows.
That's the other thing I was going to say. You just reminded me, not Artifice, but raid armor or raid stuff. They had mentioned about the bow.
Tyranny of Heaven?
So that was in the notes here, but apparently on the podcast, they had kind of hinted around maybe Last Wish being one of the raids that comes back with craftable weapons soon. So I'm very excited about that. And one of the things I think they said on the
Legit
podcast...
Last Wish?
I don't know. We'll see.
Wish.
But also that
they
with weapons that are like super popular that have set roles that like they're known for, like there's one that has like Kill Clip, Rampage or something like that. They want those iconic roles to like be maintained on those weapons. Like not saying for sure guaranteed anything, but they want to keep the identity of those weapons. And that gives me a lot of hope because that fusion rifle that's in Last Wish is incredible. So if I get that craftable with the stuff I like on it, I'm going to be very happy.
Do you know if they said on the PVE podcast if any of that weapon stuff is retroactive to copies that we have currently?
I doubt it. I bet it's all gonna be new. But no, I don't think they mentioned that on the show. I haven't listened to that one yet. I only was able to listen to Firing Range, and then there's a huge. If you want to see, if you don't have time to listen to the podcast, one of the podcast hosts did a huge Reddit post that outlines all the entire conversation they had. So it's very helpful. It's Court who does all the damage stacking infographics on Twitter. Court projects.
I still need to look at all that damage stacking stuff. I need to update on that.
And they talk about that damage stacking system. That's one of the first things they talk about is the new mod system, because it's kind of confusing with damage stacking and all the new exotic buffs they're getting. But what's really cool about, while they were talking to the devs said that they've seen a huge uptick in new light players becoming more competent players with making their builds, because the new system is so much more simplified than the old mod system, which even if we're not comfortable with the newness of it and the ways you can damage stack, new players are way more comfortable making builds now, and that's really cool.
Good. That is good.
Yeah. Next up was abilities tuning. For abilities, the best you can do is go and read the preview article we published on May 3rd. Lots of buffs.
Thank you for linking these. Oh, thank you.
I know.
Yeah. Lots of buffs for supers on PvE, more fragments slots for several aspects, improved melees for Strand, as well as lower cooldowns for grapple, a few buffs to stasis, and a long, very long, etc.
I'm going to need that stasis with Arctines next season, let me tell you. Lord have mercy.
This is the one where the shield bash and shoulder charge takes a melee charge. Is that the same one?
Believe so, unless they split it into a different one.
Good. Even though I'm a Titan, I'll say it when it's true. Good.
Oh, that's good because so many people are like, "There's nothing wrong. It's super fine." And it's like, dude, when Shadow Dive was dumb, I knew it was dumb, and I didn't use it because it was dumb.
Yeah.
When something's dumb and it's your main thing, you can say it's dumb. It's fine. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, you want mobility? Go use Strand. I'd see nobody using Strand and Crucible.
No one uses Strand. Nobody.
It is easily the most fun in Crucible with grapple.
I tried to use a different class, Mylan, and I was like, I am so slow. I'm bored. I want to be zipping and zooming around and flying and jumping and oh, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
I bet with some of those new aspects we're going to talk about in a second, we might see an uptick in Strand usage.
Well, there's some cool stuff coming for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Exotic armor tuning, same story as with abilities. We have an in-depth article about the changes coming to more than 20 exotic armor pieces. There are some big buffs in there, as well as complete reworks and a few nerfs to bring some outliers into line.
Copy that.
Got some quality of life improvements. This one came from the May 4th TWAB. New Vanguard bounties, Finest Matterweave, and Rainmaker can now be consumed to earn the associated material.
Y'all became billionaires overnight, everybody.
Yes.
Good boy protocol coming back to the tower. Certain triumphs now boost the raid exotic drop rate in the Last Wish, Deepstone Crypt, Vow of the Disciple, Vault of Glass, and King's Fall, and they are retroactive. That's it. I read it like there was another one, but there wasn't. We got some Crucible updates. The Flawless Pool is being replaced by the new Practice Pool and Challenger Pool. There's a new Trials quest for new players. Some Trials passages have been adjusted to provide a better experience. Elimination is out, and Dominion will be the core game mode for Trials.
Captain Zone.
Gilding the Flawless Seal has new requirements.
Don't have to carry people now to get that
That's
one.
so good. Yeah, it was kind of silly that like your personal title was reliant on finding people to do trials with you.
Yeah.
It's like in order to get your Crucible title, you have to help others. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
And help other people specifically with you not going flawless, because then you'll make it harder for yourself to carry them.
It was a bit.
I feel like that kind of stuff, their heart is in the right place, but the execution.
No, for sure. And like when it came out, it was also a different story. Like this is kind of another one of those things that's like a remnant of the past that's stuck around and not been updated for a long time. It's because they changed a bunch of systems after they did that. Flawless Pool wasn't here when they initially made that title. I don't think.
It's that old?
I think so. Because Flawless Pool wasn't around right away. It was just like a free for all initially.
Yeah. This would be good because there was also that bug in Trials matchmaking anyways when they added the practice pool and the challenger pool and it wasn't working properly anyway. So this technically should be the best indication of the practice pool and the challenger pool working properly.
Yeah. Did any of y'all try? Did any of y'all try soloing this weekend?
Oh my god, I lasted 2 games, Lego. I lasted 2 games, and then I was like, 1.5 games because someone left and there was no quitter penalties, and I was like, I'm not sticking around in here like a crazy person. It's mostly the sandbox, honestly, that is making it just really rough because you literally just have Arc Titans running around with Antaeus wards and the freaking Jug Shield, or they're using Peacekeepers. They're just using Immortal, and they're so fast, and they melee you from like across the map, and it makes it just so infuriating to play against if you're not that. The fact that I can headshot a Titan and he has his Jug Shield up, and it just gets rid of the Jug Shield is madness. So I was like, I don't want to.
I want to fight back, but I don't have any comeback right now.
I'm glad that they did mention on Firing Range that Arc Titan is the best class in PvP. They like straight up said it. They were like,
it's the best by far.
The best. I said it.
They normally don't either, which is funny. They normally kind of dance around just saying like, this is just the best thing hands down. But Eric was like, it is. They're the best. And guess what? They're getting a bit of help next season.
Perfect.
That's why I might have to be a stasis hunter.
I made it to 5 games in trials this weekend before I was just like, okay, I can't. Like, I just kept resetting just to see because I'm just really hard headed and just because I know it's lobby balancing against me. The matchmaking's messed up, but I still was like, no, maybe I can prove the system wrong. And KJ Hovey put up a tweet about it as well. He was like, I tried.
Like,
I'm going to keep trying. And then we all just gave up.
I think it's, for me, I think I gave up so fast because Supremacy is here. And this is legitimately the most fun I've had in like 2 years. So like having this mode that is so fun and then going into trials, it's like one of the worst it's been is, I'm not going to stick around in here.
Yeah.
Honestly, like this season, like or Livefall and Season of Defiance, just the introduction of Strand and Supremacy has dramatically boosted my playtime. Like that's the main reason I've been playing Destiny this season. It's just Strand's super fun. Every time I play, I'm like, this is fun. I'm having fun. I like Strand. And then, and then I have to play Supremacy. Like, this is fun. I'm having fun. Titan Go Punch. Wee. Like that's just been me the whole season. Like I don't know. Even though Supremacy's
on the Hunter too. I'm just like, Hunter go wee Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's fun.
They go on to talk about 3 new Strand aspects.
Yes, these are coming. This guy said tomorrow. It's not tomorrow. It's next week.
They put video examples in the TWAB of these. So if you want to see what these look like on video, head to the TWAB this week. First one is the Hunter Threaded Specter. Activate your class ability to leave behind a decoy woven from strand matter that draws the attention of nearby combatants. After taking significant damage or when combatants approach, the decoy detonates, dealing damage and releasing threadlings that seek out and attack nearby foes.
You are the human bug catcher.
Yeah.
Kind of is, yeah. I read this on Twitter. I just want to make sure we actually heard this from Bungie. But did we hear that the Threaded Specter is going to ping the radar?
Yes. It's true. Yeah, I'm so excited. They said it on Firing Range, I think. They mentioned it too. Yeah.
So I never know where my information's coming from these days. I'm like, where did I hear it? Did I read it? Did I hear it? Did I dream it?
Yeah. I'm so pumped for that reason alone, Watts. It's going to be so good.
That's interesting because you can maybe like if you peek a hallway or something, you can dodge even in front or behind of your Specter, and then they will take the shot.
Oh, they'll block the bullet for you. So
you can hit it
behind it.
Okay. Did they say how long that decoy is going to last?
It doesn't say it anywhere. No. Like if nothing does damage to it or nothing approaches it, I don't know how long it lasts.
Yeah.
But Merc did say on Firing Range that it frequently, even though it doesn't, like if you look at the image, it doesn't look like a Guardian, like it looks like it's made of threadlings, but you'd be surprised how often an enemy player would waste their super or their heavy ammo on it. Just in a rush, you see the ping and you jump up and you see something because that's what they said. The display name shows up above the decoy.
Oh, really?
And so they actually will jump and just fire and waste their ammo right there.
Dude,
so
I just want to put on Radiant Dance Machines and
I
just go boom, 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 and just make it. I don't know if they don't say if there's going to be a cooldown. There might be an internal cooldown. We know there's a Tangle cooldown, but I hope
there's
not.
A Tangle cooldown, so
I mean, at least like give it like a little bit, you know.
Yeah, without if aim assist will activate on it. Like, will it mess with aim assist if you're like dancing back and forth behind it?
That would be interesting because currently, like the stasis turret doesn't have aim assist. Like a lot of those things don't have aim assist. But with this having a nameplate and like all of that stuff, that makes me wonder if it's coded a bit differently, right? And maybe it will.
Watts, I have a build for you already. Okay, you'll know the answer to this. I don't know. Rat King, when you dodge, does the reload? Does it proc the invis from Rat King?
And the healing. Yep. Yes, it does.
You just get a kill and you dodge and you leave a decoy when
then you go invisible
and
heal. That does sound pretty fun.
That does sound pretty dirty.
That's awesome.
And then do it with Gemini Jesters so they don't have.
Oh gosh.
Titans are getting the Flechette Storm. Is that how you say that word? Flechette?
Fletchit?
Fletchit?
I don't know.
Fleche. Yep. Fleche.
While sliding, activate your charged melee ability to leap into the air, knocking nearby targets away and dealing damage. While airborne, activate your charged melee again to launch a cluster of damaging, unraveling projectiles. Repeatedly activating melee with chaining will chain additional throws.
That looks fun.
It looks like a super to me. Like
it does look like a super.
It's not like you just jump up and go. It's like shoo, 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 shoo.
Yeah.
For
it's
like
a pretty flamboyant
melee.
Yeah, I gotta
looks
say.
pretty good.
And they are using an endgame content, which is Neomuna patrols, so it's looking pretty good.
True. That's true.
We'll just skip Warlock because nobody gives a shit.
Refundable. I actually knew Briar, the Warlock player, most recently in Destiny 2, the video game.
Blueberry.
See, because the current artifact that we have right now makes it to where when you shoot tangles, it does a larger damaging blast, it does more damage, and it suspends them. The Warlocks are basically getting an aspect that's going to kind of fill that hole that we're going to be missing when they take away the mods that we have. So yeah, you get to get a tangle, and then you throw it at enemies, and it attaches to them, detonates, and suspends them. And then threadling final blows create a tangle. So this actually looks pretty cool.
It was a good artifact mod, so...
Yeah, real good.
And that's probably the area of weakness for the Warlocks is suspend, so...
Balls is our weakness, so we get more balls.
More balls.
This is going to be good in PvE. I think it'll be good in both. Like, in PvE and PvP, I could see this being very useful.
PvP throwing a tangle with suspend is pretty good.
It's really good, and that's the one thing I was kind of missing when I tried using Strand Warlock in PvP. I was like, I don't really get to use the tangles as much as when I'm a hunter. Because obviously with a hunter, you can throw it and grapple, and you have your grapple it more often. So, yeah, I actually think this might be pretty good.
And this has like an area of effect, right? So if you're playing something like Control or something where enemies are grouped up, it could just like pop them all into.
Yeah, maybe people use this in Dominion trials. No, they're gonna use shut up.
Do that. Then a Cloud Strike. That's gonna be a nice clip. Like Cloud Strike.
Yeah, and then you
all,
have
like,
which we'll get into the artifact.
That's
with
what I was
Cloud
gonna
Strike
say.
With a bada bing, bada boom, 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 zip, zap.
Ooh, Cloud Strike might be really popular next season.
Mm-hmm. Don't do it. I said nothing. People are using Cloud Strike anyway. They're gonna figure it out just randomly.
Who's got a good handle on what's going on here with this column 1, column 2 artifact stuff?
I can take it if you'd like.
Yeah, it's just artifact.
So yeah, this is the artifact that's coming for Season of the Deep. It is an NPA repulsor regulator. Anyone know what that is?
Sure.
I mean, this is going to be your breathing apparatus for.
Oh, it's how we go swim.
I'm assuming so. It's a regulator.
My swimming costume.
Nice. You're swimming cozzy.
Yeah. So in column 1, these are going to be your champion mods. You have anti-barrier auto rifle, unstoppable hand cannon, overload scout rifle, overload trace rifle, and unstoppable glaive. How do you guys feel about that? Feel happy with that?
Sure.
I'm pretty happy with like hand cannon, scout rifle, auto rifle.
Anytime there's long range stuff, it's nice.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just haven't had a huge issue with champions ever since they added like it's always on, and you also have Strand just obliterates champions. Like if you're doing a jam,
it's great. I did a
Do you think they're gonna nerf that? Do you think they're gonna change Strand?
I don't think so.
Or do you think just leave it that high?
I think they're really happy with where Strand sits in PvE and PvP. It's like not
I think so
it has
too.
its place. I think they did an incredible job with the balance of Strand.
Agreed.
Yeah, I was kind of saying the same thing. It's like it's very strong versus champions, but you can still add clear a lot better on your solar, arc, void, like your other light classes. But it's just functionally very good for GMs.
Yeah,
well,
and I think
they added intrinsic stuff for other classes too. I found myself even as a solar warlock being able to take down anti-barriers and stuff because of the radiance and where you can still. So it's nice because you can use like any weapon you want to take down the champs.
Yeah, I mean the big issue was always like if you're doing things solo and you had to have like two things on. It really locked in your loadout. But now, just having one weapon to deal with one champ and then your ability to deal with the other champ basically just allows you to really use any build you want. And Strand sort of allows you to just do whatever the fuck you want just by suspending champions constantly. But yeah, they're like a must-have really for a team.
For column 2, we have authorized mods arc. Now, all authorized mods lower the energy cost on your armor for anything affecting that specific thing. So these are all doing like similar things. So we have authorized mods void, authorized mods strand, authorized mods melee, and Technicolor Siphon, which grants access to helmet armor mods that combine the effects of Strand Siphon and Arc Siphon, which is going to be great for what I do. Like a lot of special weapons I use are Arc, like the pulse rifles, the snipers, and a lot of the primaries I use are Strand, because if you're using a Strand subclass, using a Strand weapon is very nice.
Long story short, next season is going to be a season of Arc and Strand.
And Void. There's a lot of Void stuff.
But Void was last season too. Void's always strong and Void's always around. Okay, listen, look at the next column. You tell me Arc is not going to be at the top.
Mylan, I know Arc's going to be at the top. It already is. It's just getting better.
And it's going to be at the top. Arc is there.
Column 3. We have improved unraveling. Increases the amount of damage dealt by unraveling a target. Very interested of how much of an increase that is. Because at the moment, it is kind of just like annoying flies. But if they could be annoying wasps, now we're talking. You have deeper origins, which greatly improves the benefits provided by unsated hunger, nanotech tracer rockets, harmonic resonance, and noble deeds traits. You have unto the breach. Defeating a void debuff target creates a void breach while your void subclass is equipped.
Thank you.
That was dramatic. Electric armor. Stay amplified longer while your arc subclass is equipped. Thunderous retort grants bonus arc super damage if cast while critically wounded or while amplified, and this lasts until the end of the super activation.
Any comments?
Well, actually, Mylan, I was thinking of taking Arc Hunter into trials next season because they're buffing Gathering Storm. It's going to do more damage to bubbles and wells. It's having Thunderous Retort is going to make the super do more damage. So now I'm like super hoping that I could throw it and it kills whatever's in the circle.
Yeah, and I mean all the roaming supers are getting a bit of a buff too, right? So like they're all going to do PVE damage. Like it's going to be fantastic for ad clear. I think the Arc Hunter with the what's it called? When you throw the spear, like that's gonna. What do you put that on with the Star Eaters? How much damage is that gonna do now?
True. Bing bing bing.
There's like not a single solar mod in all of these.
No.
It's because you had solar this season. Jay.
Get
it out of here. We've had enough bloody solar nades, okay? It's time for Arc.
Column 4. We have Strand Soldier. Your Strand weapons gain unraveling rounds whenever you gain Woven Mail while your Strand subclass equipped. So put this with improved unraveling. You might you're going to be healthier because you got Woven Mail, and then your unraveling rounds are going to do more damage because unraveling the target does more damage. The amount of damage dealt by unraveling. Unravel bada bing. So that's kind of interesting. We have Overcharged Armory. It just it increases the traits on things. It makes traits better. Protective Breach. I'm scared of this one. Picking up a Void Breach gives you an Overshield or refreshes your existing Overshield.
Here we go.
That in a second.
Protective Breach, Under the Breach, synergy.
And no backup plans.
Chakra.
No backup plans,
Overshields.
Fun. Yeah, it's exactly. It's Unto the Breach. It's so easy to void debuff a target basically whenever you want. And then you're going to kill, you get a breach, you're going to pick it up, you're going to get an overshield. No backup plans is going to just give you an overshield permanently, pretty much. So it's going to be interesting.
Why do you hate Titans for, Watts?
Because they are so strong.
Can we just agree to dislike Warlocks and all get along?
No,
I'm on
Mylan.
this one.
If they weren't so strong, if they weren't clarified by Bungie to be the strongest class in the game, then maybe.
Because I'll say my main issue with
In PvP.
Titans comes from them being incredibly strong at defense and incredibly strong at offense. Like, if they are at a distance from me, they're going to put down a shield. If they're close to me, they just win that because of their melees and all that other stuff. So there's really no downfall to playing a Titan. You're taking it all, but you're not given anything.
You can also have Devourer as well, right? On top of all that stuff.
Yes, you can. Which I believe is column. You can. Counter charge, gain a stack of armor charge when you stun a champion. And then amped up, gain damage resistance while amplified. This is another one that scares me because, again, Arc Titans are going to be running with their Antaeus wards, their Jug Shield. They're going to be amplified, so they're fast, and they're getting damage resistance. I'm dead 5 times
Just
over.
jump in the air, It's like all the other hunters.
No, I'm
it's very easy.
Mylan, I could jump to the next
into air
universe.
effectiveness. Come on now.
I could jump to a new galaxy and their melee will follow me.
Just go straight up.
What about Warlocks, okay? Don't be coming after us with melee lunge rate.
I actually need to talk about Warlocks for a second because I missed this one whenever I was reading through the amped up one, because damage resistance, while amped, Warlocks are the only class in the game that can amplify on demand with the exotic that overcharges your little arc floaty boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with that exotic, you immediately get amplified as well when you charge that arc grenade. So
we don't need to talk about Warlocks.
This is gonna be strong.
One of my favorite. So when we were stuck playing Warlocks for 6 months, one of my favorite ways to use Warlock was Arc Warlock with Getaway Artist and use Cryosthesia, because obviously the Arc buddies are helping you get the damage on people, so you can finish them with the sidearm, so you're able to get that free shot a lot faster.
Then you're sharing it in the fire team too. In trials, they do that a lot, right? Where they have like 3 Warlocks or 3 people coming around with Arc buddies chasing you.
Just don't combine it with a glaive, because that
don't.
Will make some people. You will get some hate mail.
Someone came into my chat on yesterday, and I was using Strand Hunter with Final Warning Strand sidearm.
I heard about this.
And they said that I deserved very bad, mean things because I was using the sidearm. And I'm like, excuse me?
I don't understand why they're coming at you for this. Yeah, what the heck?
What are you doing?
Have you used this gun?
I'm like, you don't want me to put my Glock and balls on because it's going to get nastier than this. Let me tell you. Anyway.
Was it TV's like alt account? Maybe he's just trying to protect his turf.
Oh, he hates Final Warning. So no, he doesn't want this turf. No one wants that turf. They're giving it away for free. Column 5, Conductive Cosmic Needle. Targets affected by strand debuffs take increased damage from Arc and Void abilities.
Nice.
This could be very fun for damage.
I mean, I'm pretty sure your GM teams is going to be 1 person on Strand, 2 people on Arc, and you're just going to be slaying everything.
Yep.
Because imagine that combined with the one that gives your Arc super more damage, and then you've got them debuffed by Strand at the same time. Yeah, that's...
I mean, surely boss damage, like throw a tangle, debuff the boss. I'm assuming all this
get critically wounded, pop your supers.
Yeah. Get amplified, Star Eater coming out of your ear balls. Bang.
That's one thing that they also mentioned on that PVE podcast with the devs, is they talked about stacking damage. And while there are a lot of new exotic damage buffs that don't stack, everything in the artifact they do want to stack. If I remember reading it correctly. So, because it's all seasonal. So like, it's okay if it stacks kind of deal, because it'll go away. So it's okay for stuff to be strong.
That's how they move the meta, which I'm okay with because it stays with the season. Like, it's like, hey, this is like super powerful right now. Do this.
Next, we have Shock and Awe. Arc final blows while you are amplified. Summon a burst of lightning that damages and jolts targets.
Okay, you're gonna have a go at Phantom Fister Hunters right now. 1-2 punch, liars, handshakes, assassin cows. What?
Bing bang.
Being overpowered? Bing bang bong. Trivializing GM content, one-shotting everything.
I hope so. GMs are boring.
Those
They were literally one-shotting champions last time.
On a personal level.
Those get summoned like where the enemy dies, right?
Sounds like it.
Just thinking like Cloud Strike or something.
Summon a burst of lightning.
Yeah.
So, like, are you going to get double Jolt? Because Jolt was really powerful, but I know they're nerfing it. But
they're nerfing it, yeah.
Will you get double Jolt then? Because you can already have
no,
a fragment
it'll
on
just be
for
one jolt, but it'll still damage other targets. I think burst of lightning. I think that part sounds different, but I don't think you'll be able to double jolt something.
So you won't have to stat. Yeah, right.
Just I don't know. It says summon a bolt of lightning. It sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that part will still do damage, I bet, regardless of if they're jolted or not.
Oh. And we have Supernova. Picking up a Void Breach causes your next source of void damage to create a large weakening pulse.
More void.
Kind of cool.
Squad goals. Performing a finisher while you are amplified grants amplified to nearby allies when you have your arc subclass equipped.
Nice.
Performing a finisher while you have woven mail grants woven mail to nearby allies with Strand. Performing a finisher while you have devour grants devour to nearby enemies when you have void.
That's really good.
This is really cool.
That's really good.
Have devour as an arc titan.
Yes. And then you have woven mail. Woven mail to send him in. Get him all the buffs and go, buddy. Maybe attach some Telesco shots to him.
And Devour keeps like reprocs when you get kills too once you get going. So that's huge.
Yeah, maybe you actually bring a void guy into your GM team. Then everyone just has Devour all the time. And woven mail. And amplified. And then we have lightning strikes twice. After throwing an arc grenade, gain increased grenade recharge for a short time, and arc final blows extend the duration of this benefit. Is this where I put on my hunter gauntlets and I just throw freaking grenades permanently? They don't do much. Yeah, put on Shinobus and they're kind of just annoying. But they do cause them to be what do they do? Do they amplify me? Or they do something to them? They do something.
Yeah,
are they jolt?
Arc bolt nades, maybe?
Arc bolt with Lucky Raspberry? That could be fun.
Because
well, I mean, you're gonna get shock and awe as well.
Yes.
You're gonna have two. You're gonna have increased grenade charge, and you're gonna get shock and awe, which is a burst of lightning and jolt. So, I think Arcanade's gonna be pretty strong next season.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll see. But
I rest my case. Hence why I said it's going to be season of the Arc.
Well, yeah.
And Strand.
You're convincing me, Mylan.
Arc and Strand. I mean, Void's Void. Void's like not really doing anything different than what it normally does, right?
Void's more like close range stuff. It seems like Arc's going to be like more mid to long range stuff.
That's true. Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, I love that they're doing things, and they've been doing this more and more, but where you using a different class to the people you're playing with benefits each other. I do really like that because I think that the game I think it's more fun when people are using different stuff. So having to put a team together and being like, okay, you go on Void, you go on Arc, you go on Strand. I do like that. I enjoy that.
So arc super. I was like, wait, can you make someone amplified and do more damage than supernova? It's arc super damage. I was just thinking of thunderous retort, but it's only arc super damage, right? I was like, wait a second, you can make your friends amplified by doing a finisher and then like throw a nova bomb or something.
That would be pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm glad they put that in there. Although it's PVE, I don't really mind things being super strong for PVE, especially if it comes from an artifact mod that's going to be gone next season, Well,
that was the issue with this season was like the scorch nade, the firebolt nades were in PvP. You got two of them.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. In PvP, it pisses me off, but in PvE, it's fine.
Yeah, but this stuff's gonna be in PvP.
I know, Mylan. I know. I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna come for you, Mylan. I'm gonna yell at you. It's your fault.
I mean, this is the same thing. It's gonna be arc grenade spam,
and I'm gonna start calling all Titans crusty and that they don't deserve rights. It's just the same thing as usual.
Okay, but when you double throw Shinobu, Val, enhanced, whatever the bloody called arc nades, are we gonna have the same conversation or what?
Well, I mean, we'll see if they're strong. Shinobu's like, what are the skip grenades? Skip grenades got nerfed really, and they're kind of just like an annoyance because they go. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
But they don't actually really do much damage. Although
they were good with Shinobus. I don't know what they're like now though.
They were good with Shinobus before it was all nerfed, yeah, and then that's why you don't see people using it anymore because they're actually like a pretty decent answer to Titans, like putting up a shield and trying to res someone.
Yeah,
you can try and throw the grenade and stop the res. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I like using them still just for the jolting purposes. Even in PvP, it kind of like whenever you see jolt up on your screen and you have that effect, it kind of like makes you second guess what you're gonna do next. So it's kind of fun to play with sometimes.
It can be fun, yeah. I tried using Lucky Raspberry in PvP, and it's always fun when you get your grenade back and you're like, ooh, get to just throw grenades, and then it chains and it chains, and it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's definitely a lot of fun.
Maybe you'll do some chaining with this new one.
Maybe.
We're in the optimistic part of the process right now where we're seeing all this stuff and we're like, oh, that looks really cool. That looks super fun. And then as soon as we have to experience the trauma, in PvP or whatever, it's just going to be like, I hate it all. Take it back.
I mean, I did have flashback to Storm Nades. The way those things were so big for a little bit. And I was like, oh man, am I going to experience that again with this? But I think they've adjusted everything so much. I'm not as worried, but still, it makes me wince a little bit.
I know what's going on. Mylan, you're scared that they're going to call you the negative one of the podcast, so you're trying to take away my positivity, so they come for me. I know what you're doing.
Your positivity has been punching down on me, a little old Titan just trying to find his place in the Destiny universe.
Yeah, the strongest class in the game as verified by Bungie.
This is where Mylan goes, I don't use Arc, I use Strand. And then I go, yes, you're a culture Titan. I love Strand Titans. They're cool and awesome. I don't like Arc Titans. They're bad people. And they're the only people that bagged me in Supremacy. I've not been bagged by anybody. Something's wrong with them.
Overshield and Teus Ward, slide shotgun.
Yeah, but I think I might be doing that next season because
only when you play Trials with me. Okay.
Shock and All looks pretty like Matador's arc. So you run around with your arc shotgun, you get a final blow, burst of lightning, and a jolt.
I'm gonna be using Forgiveness Sidearm next season. I'm gonna be running around with that because it's arc final blows for a lot of this, and if I'm running around leaving, because it doesn't say special, it's just arc final blows. So I'm going to be running around finishing people. There's going to be explosions everywhere.
And if you got one with Fragile Focus, that just got a buff in the season 21 changes.
I saw that. So... I don't know if I do. I yelled at them being like, God damn it. I destroy everything with Fragile Focus.
Yeah, what's Fragile Focus?
Plus 20 range. Plus 20 range. And it used to be right now, if you just get hit, it goes away. But they're changing it to where your shield has to break before your plus 20 range goes away. So you just get plus 20 range for free.
I have one
part of the fight, right?
I have a Hero's Burden with Iron Reach, Fragile Focus, and Ricochet.
Whoa.
It's already at 69 range. So.
Oh, don't make it go any higher.
Nice.
Yeah, I know, right? It won't go higher in the stats. That's where it matters. Yeah, but I think that and I have a hand cannon that is bad with it on. So yeah, I don't have a ton of good stuff with Fragile Focus.
Hey, enemy shields look like JJ's now.
True.
Yes, this is actually Destiny drama of the week. We have Shield Ussies. Yes. But mostly so when I first saw this was I was just sitting on the couch scrolling what's in the TWAB, and I was like looking at the difference between the two, and I saw the update to the shield, and I was like, that doesn't look great. And then I was like going back and forth between the old and the new, and I was like, no, this doesn't look good to me. I don't think that it looks good. But
It
I'll
doesn't
read
look
you.
like a shield in front of the enemy to me. It looks like
Correct. Yeah.
an arc around the enemy, and in the Minotaur that they show in the video, it almost looks like it's behind the enemy.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yep.
scream shield to me. It screams like power up or something.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The other one is like very obvious that it's a shield, right? Because it's encasing the enemy, but this is a little.
It's like an
I don't
aura.
like it.
They're always
It
on the
is an
verge
aura.
of going in a portal.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're about to teleport.
Yeah. But let's quell our anger and read the reasoning for why we're having this shield change. So, I'm just going to read this straight up. It's not super long. So, over the past few years, the Destiny dev team has introduced numerous changes to the core game experience as we've overhauled internal systems, as well as endeavored to make the game more accessible to our audience. The change we're about to talk about touches on both these topics. So, given the majority of these shields have been in service since 2017, the number of bespoke combatant shields has become more difficult to maintain as we've significantly expanded the number of enemy combatants in the game. To address this challenge, we've made a large back-end shift to a new shield system that will be easier to maintain and improve upon, which brings up our next point, accessibility. When we decided to overhaul this system, we took the opportunity to create visuals that are more accessible for colorblind players and players with other visual impairments. As such, we've minimized visual information that is not relevant to gameplay in favor of bringing to the foreground more combat-relevant details. That's basically the reasoning for why they're doing it. They wanted to overhaul it on the back end because having these like 3D encasing shields is obviously a lot more complicated than just this little aura. And then during that, while they were making a new system, they're like, why not, update it for colorblind?
Yeah, I'd be interested in hearing from any colorblind folks in the audience if this helps, because like not being colorblind, I can't really see a difference, but the old shield just looks like lines in a crosshatch pattern that seemed like it would stand out, whereas this is just purple kind of fuzziness. Does that stand out more?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I would love to hear from people who do have colorblind issues.
I assumed it was like an upgrade to like when you change your settings, like whatever reason, however they do it, the colors change better or whatever than the current one. But
now,
yeah.
Before we get into deep discussions, I do want to bring up a tweet that's got a little bit of attention, talking about this change as well. And this person tweeted at the Destiny 2 team and said, the new shields are a problem for visual sensitivity. This pattern and movement will be scary for someone with visual seizures triggered by an aura like this. And then they asked the opinions of someone that they know, their friend who has these kind of visual problems with seizures. And they said, this new shield pattern is really disconcerting for me since my visual aura is very similar to this pattern. This feels like a step backwards in accessibility in Destiny and not a step forward. I'm much more worried about next season because I already have anxiety about flashing.
I'm curious why they don't do, I mean, it might be seeing it from a distance, but like an overshield type aura, similar to like what you see in PvP, right? Where it's just kind of like, almost like you have like a gel suit. In like of that color. That'd be kind of interesting, but it'd probably be harder to see from a distance, to be honest. So
yeah.
The longer that I look at like the two videos of the two, the new updated one really looks like it's player focused. The other one looks like it's like world focused, like it has this shield around it. It feels like a part of the world. And the new version, it looks like it's almost like UI, like your display reading the enemy. And because every time it turns and the enemy turns, you can see
always has the same perspective.
Exactly. It always has the same perspective. So that makes me think like it's, really taking down the resources. Like that's an emphasis here, and emphasis on player control of like the color settings of that. And maybe they could even change the intensity of it later on per player or something like that to avoid some of the accessibility changes we're worried about here. At least that's what I would hope for. It just seems like they're able to tune it more per player perspective, which will be nice.
Yeah, Chad makes a good point that it's kind of a 2D shield. So
exactly.
Yeah.
You can definitely see why it would take up less resources for the game.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. And, while they were in there jiggling around with changing the shields for that reason, making it work better with their colorblind settings does make sense. But they definitely need to, and I hope they see this tweet from this person on Twitter, to kind of clarify that or give a setting to tone down how bright it is or something. Because yeah, it's very scary for anyone who has visual seizures seeing this in their favorite game and being like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play with this change.
For me, the fire from the Minotaur, like hitting the player and like the flashing that creates, seems like it'd be more of a trigger.
Yeah, there's a ton of things, and Destiny's definitely gotten, like we said, more bombastic with effects, and I can imagine that is an issue overall, and we might need a setting to be able to tone all of it down.
I think that really is the takeaway, though, from the changes. It's they've made it more of a setting that they can change. So I'd imagine graphically they can change it now too with the way they've created it.
Hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
I also had a few paragraphs about stabilizing the game engine. Hopefully,
yes, which is what we've been asking for.
Crashes and just create a better kind of player experience with less crashes, quicker updates, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like they were updating it, and when you update stuff, sometimes it breaks. They had to roll back or whatever, and it, I feel like the community went to like, we need Destiny 3, we need a new engine, we need this, that, and they're just sort of like, hey, yeah, we're just pretty much updating to give you a better service, and stuff goes wrong when you make change, so that's what happened.
I think
it's like a live process of Destiny 3, yeah.
Kind of the TLDR of it was that basically when they were like adding a patch to the game, they would kind of backload it on their side earlier in the week. And then when they'd apply the patch, that's when they'd update the live game. And that was actually making it to where downtime is supposed to be less, right? Because it's already there. You're just kind of applying it to the live game. But it was causing it to put services into a bad state, which is what forced them to bring Destiny offline for extended maintenance. So what they're going to be doing now is, starting with Season of the Deep launch, they're moving to a scheduled downtime model where they bring Destiny 2 offline for an expected 1.5 hours on their update days. So this allows them to do the staging, is what they call.
I can't believe it. I can't even play the game anymore. An hour and a half. What am I meant to do?
Literally unplayable.
So the big question that people had with this is that, are they going to, because so right now it's 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific time that patch happens. That's when reset and all that stuff is. Are they going to take it down at 10 and you'll be able to get in at 11:30?
I think it'll be before. Whenever there's an update.
That would be my guess. Yeah.
Like for the next season, they're doing that where like maintenance is starting at 7 a.m. Pacific, and then Destiny's being brought down at 8:15, and then hopefully it's back ready to go at 10 a.m. give or take.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what they're hoping with this is that they're going to bring it down at 8:30, and then it will be back up at 10. There should be less extended maintenance and extended downtime because it's happening all at once. But it means that you can expect to be offline for an hour and a half, like every patch, basically now.
Hopefully it's not every week like it has been for the past.
Yeah, hopefully. But it should make. The reason they're doing this is to make it more stable, so you're not having 5 hours down from Destiny, and it's just an hour and a half. It's expected, and you can kind of plan around it.
But what if I've got 6 dogs, 4 cats, 3 kids, 2 lives, and I only can play Destiny for an hour and a half during that time zone? What should I do then?
Check out Anthem. I think you might be a perfect candidate.
Honestly, this is what a lot of other games do. On their patch days, they do their scheduled maintenance when there's a patch, and
weekly touch grass session.
Go get it's coming to summer. Well, not if you're aware Mylon is.
No.
Unfortunate.
Make lunch, make breakfast, second breakfast.
Second breakfast.
Study for your pen license.
Yeah.
Get a bit of penmanship. Next we just have guarding games. Current standings for guarding games is first place Titans, second place Hunters, third place Warlocks. Which is different.
Oh, that's why you
confirmed that Titans have won, by the way.
Yes,
really?
Titans have indeed won. There's no way for anyone to catch up. Which
so that's why you hate me so much today. You're just salty about losing. What?
She's gritting her teeth right now.
You might have hit a nerve there, Miles.
What?
What'd you say?
I can feel her eye twitching through the camera.
Yeah, how many medals did you turn in, Mylan? How responsible are you for this victory?
A lot, because I played a lot of Supremacy. Just Supremacy.
But I only left, so because when you're getting like the platinum cards for Supremacy, you can finish it in like half a Crucible game. I would wait until the bronze medals were full because otherwise you are flying for so long. So much flying. All flying, no playing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it'd be great if we could turn them in without having to go to the tower.
Yeah.
And then they have some stuff about the money raised for the Bungie Foundation and listed the first place, second place, and third place of the groups that were raising money, which is very cool. Good job, everybody. Good cause. And then they talked about Asians at Bungie because it is AANHPI Heritage Month, which is Asian American, Native, Hawaiian, Pacific Islander. And they're having a pin, which is beautiful.
It is
beautiful.
Really nice.
It looks
Yeah,
so
good pin.
good.
And along with that pin, they're bringing out beautiful emblem.
Yeah,
good emblem too.
Nice.
Huge.
Yeah, you're like, yep, that looks good. I will be getting that.
Yeah.
Very pretty. And for the month of May, all proceeds from this pin will go to the International Community Health Services, which is a nonprofit healthcare organization in Seattle that welcomes people of all backgrounds in need of care. So,
that's great.
I mean, that's great.
It's their 50th anniversary too. That's cool.
It is their 50th anniversary, yeah.
Wow.
And it was formed in 1973 by young Asian American activists to disrupt the systemic racism that denied health to Asian immigrant communities. So that's incredible that they're continuing. Lord knows America needs help with medical things. So yeah, good cause. Very good.
Good cause.
I love
Amazing
this guy's
emblem.
hat in the picture. The guy sitting down.
Bolo hat.
Bolo hat, a
Oh,
good hat.
yeah.
A white bolo hat, though. Not just a bolo hat. It's white.
Looks like he's had it for a while too. Like that's his thing.
Wears it a lot, right?
Comfy.
I like that.
And
Let's
then
get one of those, I think.
I hope to see it on the podcast, Briar.
I think it'll be just my.
I could see
hat.
it.
I get like a powder blue
No, it
one.
should be. You can get like a podcast version and a kayak version. Get two, multiple colors.
Get two. Why not?
And then we have a new emblem for gifting Twitch subs. So currently, the way that it works is you gift 2 subs on Twitch to anyone playing Destiny with the extension, and you get emblem, you get shader, you get a bunch of things. They are updating the emblem to a new emblem.
So, are you sick of your famous Twitch streamer only having one Lamborghini and would like to purchase
One
a
Lamborghini?
second one?
Mylan, I'm not rich. I need help.
Please.
Please help me. Get an emblem. Save a streamer.
Get an emblem, help a streamer. Save a streamer.
So this is you have to make sure that you go to so they do actually have an article here as Twitch extension support article, and you have to connect your Bungie to your Twitch. Do not gift subs if you're just doing it for the emblem before you connect your Bungie and Twitch together, because you will just be wasting money. And then it does say here that those who have completed the Twitch sub bounty can collect their new Pulsar approaching emblem from Rahul in the tower starting May 28th at 9 a.m. Pacific. Now, one thing this doesn't clarify is if you can like gift the subs when the season starts or something, and then you collect the emblem later, or if the actual whole campaign starts on May 28th.
I think it starts on May 28th. That's
I
it's
would
like
hope
there's
so.
I would just
because there's a
wait.
current emblem right now where if you haven't
Yeah.
gifted subs, you can, and so the new one comes out on the 28th. I
Yeah.
imagine it's right then.
Yeah. Looks like we're streaming on Saturday. It is.
We
Hey,
are.
the
We're
dun-
playing. When's the donkey come out? Is it the same day?
Friday.
That's
Next
Sunday.
week.
That's a Sunday before Memorial Day.
I can't stream on this Saturday. That's Leo's birthday.
Danny, they're gonna give me money for
He's not gonna remember if you miss his first birthday.
It's his first birthday. I better
bring Leo along. Bring Leo. Make him dance.
3 years old is when they start even making memories.
True.
Just say that you're getting money for his birthday, right? Like
yes,
in his
we're
like college account.
Right.
That does work sometimes.
Giving you the gift of food and shelter. Happy birthday.
No, Twitch has to give.
Can you imagine me sitting in this room playing games and you can hear Leo's first birthday?
Oh,
happy birthday.
Oh, that hurts. Just saying it out loud.
When it kicks in, Mylan, that's where you go, you guys better gift subs right now. I'm missing his birthday. You hear it. Big bucks.
Wow. He's just sitting there by himself.
Oh no!
Danny's decided to take up streaming today.
No.
All these photos are just Danny, Leo, and the cake. Like, where's Matt? Hey, he Twitch sub. Twitch sub day.
He was playing video games.
Twitter
questions?
Yeah, I think that was basically it. We have just the timeline for when Season of the Deep comes. Obviously, 10 a.m. is when it's coming up, hopefully.
So we're just defaulting all of the weapon updates and everything to the...
Unless there was anything that you were particularly excited about.
I'm excited about Spinny McGee, being able to spin the weapons round and round, and you spin me right round.
That's true.
Yes.
That's great.
Lego, you said on Twitter, like, was it you, the thumbnail rejoice?
Yes, thumbnail artists rejoice everywhere. We can get a clear shot. Direction. They remove the blur of the preview too, so you can rotate it and view it, clip it, easy Photoshop mask. It's gonna be wonderful.
Nice.
And then people were getting excited about the appearance tab at the bottom of their little preview thing. They're like, oh, does this mean we can apply shaders to exotics? Ooh, probably not.
Nice.
But that would be really nice.
Have you previewed some of the exotics with shaders? Because you can do that. And it looks really cool.
They look really good.
Wait, you can preview them, but you can't apply them?
Correct.
Yeah.
How does that make sense? Make sense. It's in the game.
It's right
there. Hey Blaze says, so now that Mercules has officially debunked Ill Physics' shotgun counterbalance mod theory, is Lego running the next massive breakdowns episode by himself while Tony recovers from being in shambles?
The answer to this is super ironic. So for those who don't know, Tony, my co-host at Destiny Massive Breakdowns, who is very good hand cannon shotgun user, the perfect counterpart to my fusion rifle sidearm user, he has just doubled down on counterbalance affecting his shotgun. Like, he's like, I swear it feels good. He made it clear that, like, you know, it could all be in his head. He's not advocating people do it. He has to know, could there be something here? And it became a huge thing on Twitter. It blew up. They were talking about on firing range last episode before this one. And so he was like, if we talk to the devs, we'll ask him. So they asked Merc, did counterbalance do anything? And he's like, we should honestly just take it off as an option. That's how sure we are that it isn't doing anything. I was like, you didn't have to burn him that hard. But no, actually, ironically, Physics is doing the episode tonight, I believe, on his own with Drewski from Firing Range. They're doing the episode together. So should be a great episode. I've been feeling super under the weather, so I'm just on this show tonight. But great question. Shout out to Ill Physics, counterbalance on shotguns.
I also saw what's the website that you use that's been gaining a lot of popularity?
Oh, D2 Foundry.
Yes.
It's incredible.
I saw that the dev of that responded to Ill Physics and said, we actually tested this and knew it didn't do anything, but we didn't want to tell you.
You have the heart to tell you.
Amazing.
So good.
Soul Invictus says, of all the NPCs in Destiny, who do you think would win in a nude twerking contest covered in baby oil?
Oh my God, Callus, hello. He already did that.
It's definitely
my milkshake bring most of the boys to the yard, and they're like,
the clap, it can be heard from like a state away.
Yeah, that's not his hands clapping together.
I'm pretty sure.
I've seen those TikToks. Wait, what?
I'm pretty sure Shackle, who used to be really involved with the Destiny, did an animation of Callus doing that dance to that song.
Yep.
Well, it should be the you remember the baby dancing baby from
Yes.
like the early
Yeah.
Callus doing that in a diaper.
That'd be good.
I would love that.
Yeah, I would save that to the hard drive. Put that in the taxes folder if you catch the drift. Loneliness says, I have a question. What if Sloan is evil in drawing us into a trap on Titan that we have to fight out of and eventually fight Sloan? It would be fun to fight Dark Guardians. I've dreamed about that since like Destiny 1. Dark Guardians.
You have weird dreams.
I had a dream about an invisible spider chasing me today.
It's like my dreams are not that cool.
Huh? Invisible spider?
It wasn't like totally invisible, but it was like, transparent to where when it runs, you can like just see it, but not track it very well. Yeah.
It's like hunters.
Well, literally hunters of the Crucible.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, you're envisioning hunters as a spider.
It's mixed with the alternative version of the Warlock super they wanted to make that was a spider, like your character turns into a spider, and then a hunter making them invisible.
Oh, boy. Oh, my God.
It just appears in front of you.
Oh, God.
Whew. That would have been hilarious. But I understand. Scary for people who are very scared of spiders.
Oh, that'd be terrifying.
Mr. Macalito says...
Oh, Evil Sloan. Yeah.
Yeah, Evil Sloan. All right. We didn't answer the question.
Scary spiders.
Got it.
Sorry, that was my fault.
If we fight her, I just want to fight her in her mech suit. She has to be in the mech suit, right?
A taken mech suit? She got taken.
Ooh.
She's got like a taken cannon on her.
Could be.
No, I think she's good, and the big boy in the soup is going to take us to her, and that's when we realize he is a good boy, and yeah,
best
that's what
boy.
I think so.
Mr. Bacalito says, asking for a third time. With the Titan shoulder charge nerfed to the ground and Sunbreaker kind of useful now, what rotato would you use when rocking 6 nuke launchers to the most banging soundtrack, totally not stitched from an Xbox 360 arcade game? I still haven't played rotato. Anybody played rotato?
No, I haven't. I'm sorry.
Mr. Bacalito. Try again next week.
Maybe we'll have played it then. Yeah.
Maybe. Runda says, with the semi-recent shoulder charge nerf as an example, what would your opinion be if each class gained an additional mobility option that replaced their class ability? Example, thrusters on Titan and retroactively Icarus Dash on Warlock.
I'm always down for more movement stuff. I just think movement's fun. That's why I like Titanfall so much. Guess we kind of have that with grapple. What's another kind of
just use grapple.
We
don't need anything else. Everyone use grapple, please.
Seriously, put it on. It's so much fun. I played a full Crucible game. I think I was actually going solo in Supremacy, and it was a full Hunter Strand lobby. And it is the most fun thing I think you can do, because obviously when hunters use grapple, they're leaving the little points all over. So you just have these points you can grapple to for free. And oh man, it's so fun.
Yeah. When I did that video with the one Thunder Crash Titan with everyone like grappling onto them, because we were just playing with Strand, it's pretty impressive when everyone's flying around with grapple. Like, it's very unpredictable when you have like a whole team with grapple, like just zooming around the map.
The fact that you just like set your controller down and didn't, like, you were laughing so hard and you still didn't die.
We did Strand private lobbies. That was pretty fun, and you were only allowed to use your Strand abilities to kill people. Like, you couldn't use weapons at all. And what I was gonna say with the question, I could see Titans having I've recently watched My Hero Academia, and the leg cannon rockets like on Titan, where you can like zoom in.
In a straight line only. Straight line only.
Yeah.
Like
it would actually not be bad.
What's the Overwatch character? Like Reinhardt or whatever.
Yeah,
yeah.
Straight line.
Things are going good for Overwatch, I hear.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. Something we can talk about on SideQuest on Monday.
Yeah. With our friend Farron Marabella, who's joined the show.
Did you say Ferrarin? Ferrarin
Marabella.
I call him Franny Two Fannies.
Sam, 2 questions says. I'm sorry. Sam says 2 questions. 1, do you think Bungie has an issue trying to make systems unique in a Bungie way?
Yes.
What do you mean?
It's hard to like have a spin on everything, right? It's got to be hard.
Just look at the rank up system, how they're so set on everything being circles. Like I can't have just a rank of set, like they're just completely like all bungified. Everything is circles. It's never a line for XP. I mean, there is a line for XP, I guess, but like with ranks and stuff, everything is bungified.
They like their balls.
That way.
They like anything that looks like balls.
What about matchmaking?
But wasn't the question is they don't do that or they do that?
They have a problem with making, like a problem with making Destiny specific kind of systems. I feel like they overcomplicate a lot of things like currency, matchmaking, map weighting. I feel like
seasonal thing, the seasonal box that you check off.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it is just like full on complicated instead of just, taking something that works. And I think it's a good thing to look at something that works, realize why it works, maybe think about what doesn't work, and then just iterate on the things that don't work. But you don't need to completely reinvent the wheel every time you do something.
Yeah, I feel like there's not maybe enough balance with just accepting that some things are quite ingrained in gaming and gaming culture and maybe don't necessarily need iteration, and other things can definitely use the Bungie flair, and that's why they make good games, and that's why Destiny's been around for so long. It's because they do reinvent and invent and create, but other times it's like, bro, people have been there. We don't need another wheel. We know that the wheel works. It's good. Just keep using the roundness.
Remember way back when they went and talked to Blizzard about Diablo? And like we're trying to like get some like learning from the mistakes of Diablo 3's launch and all that. It's been a while since I think they did something like that.
Well, and again, like Bungie obviously do a lot incredibly well. Their game feels incredible. It looks incredible. But yeah, there's definitely some things where I'm like, this is a little overcomplicated. We don't need to make it this complicated.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look just from the subclass and random perks and weapons and your ability builds, like it is so far ahead of like a lot of games. I mean, there's no other game that has that the first person shooter. And that is the Bungie magic. Yeah. There's just a lot of the other systems that it's like maybe less Bungie magic and more just like tried and true.
I think we take a lot for granted.
We do. Yeah. I always say if you want to like Destiny more, go play another game because you'll be like, Jesus, I miss the way Bungie does this.
That's true.
Yeah. Like even simple things, a lot of games that are new to the genre or like games that we've tested or they're in beta, like you have a random perk or whatever. It's like there's no effect that happens. There's nothing on screen that happens. There's like look at Redfall. I know that was completely underfinished, but that had elements, of like random perks and stuff. You didn't know if anything was active or was working. There was like no indication visually or otherwise that you had extra damage. Or
I'll
that
say
you,
though,
like,
going in the other
happened.
direction, like how many games have stolen, like just torn out the Destiny kind of like inventory
formula?
Interface.
Oh my god.
They've just like copied it and also copied the loot system, like down to like, oh, you can find pants, you can find arms, you can find helmets, but it just feels completely empty whereas Destiny, like at least there's some variety in it, Or how many games like Anthem just like they tried to do it, they just couldn't do it, So many Destiny killers have come and gone.
The thing that you can tell a lot is the cursor that Destiny uses. That was not a very popular cursor for like controllers, right? But now you see it in pretty much every game. And almost every game will have that little circle that you can control with your controller. Because normally that kind of cursor would be only for the mouse input. And it would just be like selecting things with a controller. So yeah, I see that everywhere now. And I'm like, there it is.
That's interesting too that Destiny started on console and yet they still implemented that system.
They did, yeah. I initially remember being like, oh, this is a bit weird. I normally don't get to control a cursor with my controller.
Second question is, what is your favorite date activity? You know.
Scary movies.
Scary movies?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like, if it doesn't scare you, you didn't do the date well enough.
Wait, what was it? Was it?
What's your favorite?
Dead Rising? What was it new? What was that new one that came out recently?
Oh yeah, Evil Dead Rising. We watched that the other night.
Was it good?
You like it?
It was pretty good. Yeah, it wasn't like horrifying. Like, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, it's so scary. But it was like really well done. And I liked the last new one that they did too. And I felt this one was a good in between that new one and the like original Evil Dead. It kind of like pulled a little.
One of the gents in my Twitch community like worked on it. He like does like props and stuff.
That's awesome. I heard they originally it was going to go to HBO, like straight to HBO, and then it did so well in test audiences. They were like, "Well, let's put it in theaters." And like we felt like our money was well spent watching it. It was cool. It felt kind of like towards the end. I don't want to spoil anything, but it felt a little like Resident Evil-y or The Last of Us-ish, but like, you know, Evil Dead universe.
Did it have like a little bit of comedy to it?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
But like scary too, because I don't like too much comedy in my horror. It like takes me out of the scary aspect of it, and I really want to be scared. So I don't like too much of it, and they did like just the right amount. So it was really nice in that way.
I really like to do like music in the park kind of things when they have like, you know, like your town will have like bands playing in a park where you could bring a blanket, you could bring your own drinks, you could bring you could even bring dinner if you wanted to. I really like that because the music generally isn't so loud that if you get into a conversation, you can have a conversation. It's not like at a bar where it's like blaring. But also you could get up and leave anytime you want. You can walk around a little bit, you know, like it just feels like a fun thing to do. And it's good for like early dating, like with somebody new. It's also good for like, you know, I've been married for quite a while now, and it's still fun.
Do you take those like low cut like beach chairs to sit in, or do you sit on the ground?
We usually take like a camp chair kind of thing.
Okay.
Oh, that does sound fun.
I was like, what's a date? Leo's only like just gone 12 months, so I haven't been on a date.
That's how you made him.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of food trucks here, like when the weather's nice, like they'll have like an oval and they have all the food trucks show up, and you can, similar to what's Bry's saying, you sort of just walk around, decide what you want to eat, have a picnic rug, and then listen to some music. That's about it.
Yeah, I do tend to like the ones where you get to do with multiple kind of different things. So you can go out and maybe there's like a bunch of local artists like having a bunch of stalls selling things. You can walk around there and look at that. You can go and sit in the park and there's music playing and you get to eat a little picnic thing. Like having multiple things to do is nice. I come back being like, that was a good day out.
Yeah.
I like that.
And maybe you like find a new band that you like, or who knows what you'll find. My wife cannot stand just like going to restaurants anymore. She's just like so over it. She doesn't want to just like sit at a restaurant and like, it's just boring to her, you know? So we gotta find something like a thing.
And a movie, like you don't get to talk at all. So that's like pretty bad, I think, for early dating, especially because it's like, okay, we went on a date. What did we do? We sat next to each other and then we went home.
It's getting bad though, isn't it? Because like with early dating, sometimes you get like these awkward silences. Sometimes it's good to just be able to like sit together,
be in each other's presence, and kind of get used to each other.
With like something, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Honestly, get high, go to the park, eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
On a nice sunny day.
Good way to go. Beer gardens are a win. Malty says, I would like to know why they chose these paths for the aspect for Strand. Like, what was the game plan for why these out of all choices got picked?
The new ones that they're bringing in?
Hold on. Let me ring my dad. Hi, John Bunchy. Yeah, it's your son here. What the fuck are you doing to Strand?
I think they're trying to fill in the gaps. Yeah. Like hunters, I think did need another way to use their dodge because there are like a lot of hunter exotics are required. You're required to use your dodge. It does not work with suspend. So adding something else that you can do with a dodge that you can use a bunch of exotics for, like that, I think is good. Warlocks are going to be able to use the ball more. That's good. Titans, I don't know. They just be slinging things.
They needed something
really
other
should
than
have
just
had some
punching up
threadlings.
close.
I feel
Threadlings,
like.
yeah. I do feel like you're missing
Because-
threadling. in Titans.
Yeah, we're sort of missing threadlings. I mean, rather than throwing the blades, we should have just thrown the children. Like threadlings. Yeah.
That would have been good.
I like that.
Yeah.
I do like that. That's good.
Goal says, "Hey DCP, is there anything you purposely buy the off-brand version of, not for saving money, but because you prefer it over the name brand?" It's an interesting question.
Ooh.
I have a really specific, very specific thing.
Okay.
There is a name brand, I forget what they're called, but the little things that you like use to stab an ear or a finger with a diabetic cat
Okay.
or person. The name brand of that is not as good as the Amazon brand of them.
Oh, interesting.
Like
Why-
genuinely,
what's
the Amazon brand is better. So it seems to hurt Bella less, and it seems to draw blood easier.
Mm.
So I don't have to like stab her as hard.
I bet she
to get
appreciates that.
She does appreciate that, yeah. And they're cheaper. You get more of them in one little box of it. So yeah, I will now never get the official ones.
The question is, what you like them off-brand more
Yes.
than the name
More
brand?
than. You're not buying it
Okay.
because it's cheaper. You're buying it because you like it better than, like...
Yeah. I'm curious what you think about this one, Briar, because my answer is Mr. Pibb over Dr. Pepper.
I mean, Mr. Pibb is still owned
Briar's
by.
face, for audio listeners,
Pepsi, right?
Briar's face just act like he saw the starving child on the street, and he's
I'm
very
so
sad about it.
sorry. I'm
That's
so
not
sorry.
off-brand in my opinion.
See, you can't.
Be like
where I live in
Shasta.
Texas, you can't like go anywhere without Dr. Pepper. It's everywhere. And so when I get Mr. Pepper, I'm like, oh, it's like a nice something different. It's kind of the same, but it's a little different. It's like a
I
special.
can understand that.
I don't even drink actual Dr. Pepper. I only drink Diet Dr. Pepper. And I think it's the most delicious of all.
Is
the
there
Diet.
Diet Dr. Pibb?
Is there?
I'm sure there is.
All
Is
right,
Dr.
I'm gonna
Pibb
Google it.
even a real doctor?
No, he's a
Dr.
mister.
He's not. He's Mr.
He's the dude, he didn't even get his degree, Mitch
Oh
Hedberg.
God, it's
He's got
Mr.
his
Pibb.
GED.
Mine is it's weird. So it
Pibb
generally
Zero.
is a little bit cheaper, but Safeway has these store brand, they call it Safeway Selects or whatever, store brand pizza. And the pepperoni pizza has these little pepperoni nuggets that are like, they have like, the circle pepperoni, and then they have like little pepperoni nuggets. They almost taste like bacon or something, and they're delicious. And the pizza is better than like one of those thin crust ones or whatever. It's actually pretty thick. Maybe not as good as like a DiGiorno, but it's still solid. It's a bit cheaper.
Good pizza.
So
Okay.
Lamborghinis, I think, they're just a little like faster, a little cooler than Ferraris. Ferraris are so ostentatious, right? Like to
Friday.
drive around a Ferrari, you got to have like snakeskin loafers and like matching suit pants to your jacket that you wear around all the time. You got to have like a really nice haircut. Anybody can drive a Lamborghini. It's the supercar for the people.
Ferrari, you gotta have fuck you money. Lamborghini,
You just gotta say fuck you a lot. Actually, Aldi sells. You know the pizza that has the cheese in the crust.
Yes,
They make one of those.
Easy crust.
It's fucking awesome. I love it.
it is awesome.
Gator says, if a DCP tournament would take place, 1v1 Gambit, who would be the one winner? 1v1 Gambit. That would take
Okay, listen,
forever.
I don't want to brag, but I am the official title holder of all Gambit official tournaments.
There you go.
I don't know
That's
how
true.
I got here.
That's true.
Whoa.
Yeah, so for
An
context,
official champion.
I am the official champion.
Yeah.
So this happened. There was an official Bungie GCX Gambit tournament, and my team won that. And then there was also a Gambit tournament at Bungie Studios, and my team won that.
You won twice?
I thought you were joking.
Original Gambit.
I'm not joking.
Two-time.
I am the Gambit
The two-time Gambit champion.
There you go.
You know, I should play Gambit and put that in my title, so all like the official Gambit gamers can come and yell at me.
Was it the same team both times? Like the same people?
No, it wasn't. The one at Bungie, we played against celebrities and also
like Big Show and stuff.
There was who's on my team? I had a two basketball players, and
you don't know who they are.
I'm very bad with names, really bad.
Like, oh, what do you do? Oh, you play basketball. That's cute.
I knew them. This is the thing. I'm just so bad with names. And I did beat True Vanguard. Yeah, we did. We beat. That was against True Vanguard.
Nice.
Let's bring that up again next week.
Note.
To be fair, on TV's team, he had I think he's a rapper. I'm not sure. But he kind of stopped playing and put the controller down and looked at his phone for a little bit.
Oh, was it Snoop Dogg? He used to stream. No, remember? He'd like
Snoop Dogg would play the game, bro.
No, he is
Snoop Dogg would play.
The video kept playing, but he's like doing this with his arms and like smoking pot and stuff.
Yeah, true. Snoop Dogg's got the assistant playing while he lights a joint.
Totally not playing.
We did one as well in Sydney. We had me and Log went and played against some celebs. We had Seth Sentry and another rapper, Briggs. We played, and then some NRL player, like rugby league player as well.
And
like never held a controller.
That's why
before.
you've never heard of him.
I wasn't gonna say it. I was just curious.
What, you never heard of Seth Sentry?
Who?
No.
Oh, that's some culture, people. Jeez Louise.
Maybe some music that I would have heard.
I don't know.
I also Googled the people. I have the people.
Okay.
Because I knew one of the names. That's all I knew. So on TV's team, which actually did start a friendship because he had Zach Levine, who is an NBA player, who is a big Destiny player.
Slam dunk champ. Yeah.
Yeah, he's local to Washington. And he plays Destiny.
Wow.
But then he did have Vic Mensa, which was the guy who was kind of an ass. I'm gonna say a bit of a dick, of a big dick asshole.
He kind of looks like it. I'm not gonna.
Because clearly he was like paid to go there and do this Gambit thing with Destiny, and like it's not for a very long time. You could at least pretend to play the game for a little bit, but he was just on his phone, which was unfortunate.
Nice,
and then.
Move.
Yeah, getting paid and still not. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't like that. I feel like, at least try a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he also had 55 on his team, which is of course
Liz.
Yeah, Liz. She started in Destiny, streams variety. On my team, I had Luka Doncic. Did I say that right? He's mega famous.
Yeah.
Big boy, big famous basketball player.
Hey, I'm old. You guys should know these people though. I got an excuse.
And then there was Dylan Francis, who is a recording artist. And then there's Optic Diesel, who he does dabble with Destiny as well. But all of them really tall. I'm 5'2". So in all the pictures, it's just like they're trying their best to get me in there.
They didn't give you a little step ladder.
No.
Tom Cruise treatment.
Yeah. I know Luca's super famous. So I gotta say, my team was so nice. They were all like asking me for tips. They're like, "Okay, what's our game plan? What are we gonna do?"
Cool.
Luca and Dylan were both like incredible, and then Diesel's played Destiny before, so I had a really good time because all the people on my team were just so nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
We need to try to find this
It
recorded
makes
somewhere.
sense they stuck T-Von with all the assholes.
I remember when we did our Gambit promotion and the people like organizing it were like, so we can't get like LAN working. So you're just going to have to go into like a live environment and verse other people in Gambit. And then we'll see like who performs better. But of course you can't like use your Destiny character. So we're going to get you like on the day, we're going to make you a new Guardian. Like, okay. But I think Gambit was initially light level enabled. Like, okay, we're like, what level will be at? They're like, oh, it's okay. We'll just buy the levels or whatever. Or like, you can't. Or like at that time. Like, oh, can we just buy the gear? Like, no, you can't. You got to get someone I can play it. And then we ended up having like just all blue gear, like trying to showcase Gambit, getting our absolute teeth kicked in, like just losing every match.
All right, guys. Terrible. I'm going to institute speed round rules for the rest of the Twitter questions. We are running out of time.
Okay. Listen, that was a nice little trip down memory lane.
It was very good.
And Zach Levine and TV started like playing Destiny together.
Wow.
Oh.
So, speed round. Remember, speed is of the essence. Here we go. Mike says, did I miss it or did we not get the Nutbush remote?
Yeah, where's Chris?
Yeah,
where is Chris?
Can we? I wonder if Bungie will let me bring developers on here just to like talk nothing about Destiny except where's the emote?
Yeah. How do you feel about the Nutbush?
Where's the emote?
That's all I want to do. Yeah, because honestly, okay, this is a bit side quick tangent, Briar. Quickest tangent. I like just speaking to developers as people and like, what do they like? What do they enjoy? How do they get into game dev? Rather than like, can you give me the details of this very specific thing? And I know that people listening want to hear about the details about Destiny, but I do like talking about regular stuff with them.
Agree.
Sir says, let's say you could have the power of the light in real life, but to gain it, you had to eat an entire corpse of one of the in-game races. Which one are each of you picking? Mylan Doff. What's the smallest, tastiest one? Oh, I'm eating a little blueberry, the little fallen blueberry.
Elixir babies.
Yeah.
Hatchling's gonna get chomped, right?
Yeah, heck yeah. We're gonna make a pile. You make a bunch of them.
Wait, do any of them make eggs? Do any of them have eggs?
I don't know.
Worm eggs?
Eat a worm.
Bro.
That's gonna be a big egg.
I don't care. I'm specifically just eating him. I don't care what the rules are. It's just he's gone.
All right, Three Bros, One Controller podcast.
I'm eating Titans.
There we go.
It's a mouthful.
Auto or stick shift? Stick.
I think you should learn manual. Yes.
Cold weather or hot? Hot.
Cold.
Cold.
Burrito or hard light? Burrito.
What?
Shawarma kebab.
What? Am I shooting the burrito? Am I eating the hard light?
You might be shooting
the
burrito later.
I feel like this is a joke about Mylan not knowing the difference between different types of food.
Nap or power through? Nap.
I do be liking naps, but they usually make me feel worse.
Yeah, you take too long. You got to do like a 20-minute nap. 20-minute naps.
Future watch to worry about.
20-minute naps are the power move. Sauce or not?
29?
Sauce.
No sauce.
Taco or enchilada?
Taco.
Unanswerable. Remedy Boot says, with Bungie stating a while ago that they don't want our enemies to be one and done, do you think we'll get Savathun back again as either an ally or enemy?
Oh,
yes.
for sure.
Yes.
100%. I'm going to go with ally, too. Ally, fight the witness. She hates the witness. She called the witness a bitch. I heard it.
Dropkick says, ice cream cake or French silk pie?
Ice cream cake.
What's a French silk pie?
I don't know.
Specifically the Dairy Queen ice cream cake.
What's a French silk pie?
I don't know. I was hoping you would know.
It's like a cream pie.
A cream pie?
Excuse
me? Do you know this, or are you just making this up?
No, it is. Yeah, it's like a chocolate, like a chocolate cream pie. It's like a French silk, like a silky, like mousse-like pie.
Neither of these are like really top tier, so I guess I'll go ice cream cake. I suppose.
Ryder doesn't like cream pies.
Shield I'm gonna go with that. Actually, wait, no, I don't like that.
Athion's Doggo says, if Destiny and Monster Hunter had a collaboration, which three monster armors would you like to see?
Namiel.
I don't know.
This is literally a question for Watts.
I like the fuzzy ones. That's really what I like. The big fuzzy ones. Blair Green says, hey, I love what y'all bring each and every week for Destiny community. My question is to the number 3 lore daddy, Mylan. Is the DD dead?
By the way, we decided that it was number 4.
Oh, who took the number 3 slot?
I don't remember. Me. It's me.
I'm sure they deserved it. Is the DDU dead? And if so, when are we getting log on DCP? P.S. Still waiting for those stubbly holders. Yes, we should definitely get log on
Stubby
DCP.
holders.
Okay, so here's the thing, right?
Okay.
Log and my group of friends who used to play Destiny is probably in the boat of a lot of people that are just apathetic towards Destiny now and just don't really want to give it the time of day anymore. They log played because of the loop between PvE and PvP, and just PvP got so unenjoyable for him, even as a casual, that he doesn't, from what I've spoken to him, he doesn't. Like, Supremacy would have been completely up his alley. I was like, Log, you got to give Supremacy a shot. Like, this is going to bring back the fun to Destiny. He's like, no, don't care anymore. So he hasn't admitted. He keeps putting it off, but I think the other podcast that used to host is probably dead. Probably gone.
It's time for
haven't officially announced it.
Diablo Down Under podcast.
Yeah, Diablo Down Under. DDU.
Yep.
Watts, fun fact, there is Monster Hunter crossover armor on a character in Street Fighter Duel.
Oh my
Briar's
goodness,
favorite like mobile free-to-play game, yeah.
Oh.
It shames the Street Fighter franchise.
Monster Hunter Ken.
Oh, that's amazing.
Actually.
Oh, actually, in Street Fighter 5, he's got Monster Hunter armor as well.
Okay.
Oh, what the? Well, never mind. It's Capcom. That does make sense. But I saw actually in the mobile game that they put the very well-known fight of Jason Wong getting absolutely dunked on in the mobile game, which I thought was incredible. Again, if you have not seen the clip of the
Evo,
perfect blocking,
Evo moment 37 or 34 or something like that.
Wow, Evo,
with Daigo and Justin Wong.
Oh my god, it was so good. I watch it probably once a month, where I'm just because it's just the perfect block, and everyone's going, "Oh!"
You don't have to know anything about Street Fighter. You don't have to know anything about video games in general. You can just tell that this dude just styled all over the other dude. It's so clear.
Yeah, like, so I did appreciate that was in the mobile game.
You know how like you could be watching like clips of a game you don't know, like League of Legends or something. Like if you don't play League of Legends, and like the audience is screaming, and you're like, this just looks like things moving around the screen. I don't really know what's going on.
It is hard to know what's happening.
Or like there's a bunch of games like that, but that clip, it doesn't matter what the context is. You could just tell this dude just kicked the other dude's butt.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Kane Shin Phoenix says, for the new dungeon, you get to choose one water level from a video game from the past. Worst level wins. I'll go first. Ocarina of Time, Water Temple. I'll one-up you. Anthem, underwater level in the beta.
Oh my god, yes!
At all control your character.
TMNT for NES, the seaweed level.
Not even close.
Really?
Not even close.
You couldn't control your character at all.
Wow.
It was, oh my god, it was really, that was really bad. It was funny though. No, because I was drowning. No, it wasn't funny.
How is the Ocarina of Time's water level a bad level? That's a great dungeon.
This is a thing I've seen debated about recently
the water
on
temple
Twitter.
is divisive on the internet, that's for sure.
It is divisive.
Why is it bad? I don't understand. There's great puzzles that have you raising and lowering the water. You're not under the water the whole time. Like I think it's one of the most memorable levels in the game.
I think a lot of people think that. On both sides of the argument.
Sonic 1 water levels also suck.
Yes.
Sonic
and he did
Wow.
That hate it. So stressful.
Jason Turner says, long time watcher, first time asking a question. What exotic weapon or armor piece would you rework, and what would it do? Shit, this isn't really an easy, quick answer.
Exotic armor piece. Okay, it would be like some sort of pair of glove, and it would just write Destiny lore scripts once a week.
I would go on.
Can you do it with AI?
Nope.
Yeah, with AI, yeah.
I know sealed Ahamkara graphs are getting updated, but I don't agree with the update. I would like to get double melee for Hunter, because there's currently nothing that gives you like just a Hunter double melee. You can have double knives, but you can't have just like double melee.
Because you have your melee up 100% of the time anyway.
No, I don't.
exotic pants for any subclass that make the acceleration speed of your jump super fast, but also have the animation that when you do jump, your pants go around your ankles.
Oh, I like that.
True.
I want to have transversive steps go back to what they did in D1, where you pick up ammo and it auto reloads your weapons.
That was nice.
Personally.
I'm gonna tell you, I tried making a build around okay? I tried making a build. It was very difficult. The only time I found it useful is if I was using the last word, because you spurt out bullets so fast. But being able to reload with your melee and then like hit them with last word was pretty fun. That's it. Okay, sorry.
I feel like I'm not sure which one to rework, but one of like the underutilized like chest armor exotic pieces where when you use your ability, instead of using your class ability, it would just drain all your abilities, grenade, melee, and your super, and take away one of the opponent's grenade, melee, and super as well. It just like neutralizes the field.
Like an
cool.
EMP almost.
Yeah, like EMP.
Like
yes,
that.
like an EMP. And then so like maybe you give away your position, but you drain everyone's abilities.
And then
like
your
everyone.
opponent's pants go around his ankles, so you can't really walk
Yeah.
Around your ankle. Steal everybody's pants.
Blader McBlanderson says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at parallel parking? I'm like a 5 or 6. I'm not very good at all.
I haven't
Backup
done
cameras.
it enough.
I don't do it enough now.
Yeah, I don't ever do it.
I don't do it enough
I don't
either.
do it enough.
My
backup
driving
cameras help
instructor,
really good.
my driving instructor had a process. He mathematized it for me. He goes, okay, window to window, or like rear view to rear view, and then it was like one turn towards the curb, and then as your like back window crosses the bumper, another half turn, and then as soon as your front bumper passes the back bumper, like you start cranking it all the way back. Like it was like bing bang bong, and as soon as he told me that process, it was
that's
just,
not
like,
the sounds you should be hearing when you're parallel parking.
bing bang bong. Perfect.
So we'll get in a car with Mylan. You're gonna have Leo in the back as well, going bing bang bong, bing bang bong.
Mohegan 9 says, if another host
like a glove,
if another host confessed to killing somebody, would you snitch on them? No. I am your murder buddy. I am with you. No questions asked. I'm not even going to ask you why you killed him. I'm just going to assume you had a good reason. And this is never going to come up for Watts because I assume she's going to eat her victim.
Yeah, they're gone. Evidence gone.
No evidence.
Just don't look for my poop the day after or something.
And in a completely unrelated note, I will never be attending GZX live.
Well, that's because it's in Florida.
Fine. You don't want to have a murder buddy? That's on you, buddy. Take care of that body
You
all by yourself.
You would find a murder buddy in Florida. That's a perfect place to find one.
Right?
I thought like he can't set foot in the States or something because of, something.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
I'm also
a good place
banned.
to find murder buddies, actually.
Yeah.
Another question by Mohegan 9. This is going to be the last question of the night, I believe. Yes. You and your spouse are about to get on a plane. A free upgrade to first class becomes available. Who gets the seat?
Obviously me.
Me and who?
Your significant other.
Can we trade it back and forth? Can we be like,
no?
She's like, I had my 3 free drinks. It's your turn.
No.
I have a back injury. It's me.
I think all the credit I would get for giving Danny the first class ticket would probably be worth it.
Oh,
I don't feel like I'm gonna get any credit for giving that seat up, but I'll definitely get the opposite of credit. I'll get demerits if I don't give that seat up.
There we go.
I was gonna say that would Mylan be able to do like day 1 raids and dungeons forever with that little maneuver. There.
Yeah,
do you remember the time I gave you first class?
I mean, I bargained for a Saturday morning. Do you know? I've just realized I bargained for a Saturday morning so we could play the new dungeon together.
Yeah.
What did you give
Saturday
up?
morning for me? And then Bod's like, oh yeah, we're playing at 1 a.m. your time. I'm like, motherfucker, I just got a morning off to play the game, and now we're playing at 1 a.m. and everyone's in bed.
Well, I was thinking of you, Mr. YouTube man, who wants to maybe make a lore video. Okay?
True. Get that monies.
Gonna be big lore in there, I'm sure. Big lore.
Huge
lore.
All right,
Just
that's
me
the
screaming, huh?
We did it.
338 in the books.
Hurrah.
Next week will be Season of the Deep.
That's right.
Also next week,
Huge.
Mr. Paul Tassi should be joining us.
Oh,
really?
We haven't had Paul on a long time, so that'll be awesome.
Been a minute.
I haven't seen Paul in my Twitter feed recently. Is he being
'cause
suppressed
Twitter's
or is
stupid.
Yeah, Twitter is.
Yeah,
Tells you
true.
nothing you want and just what you don't want. It wants to like rage bait you into talking to people, I think.
Yeah.
And he has a good Twitter feed too, because he gets into a lot of shit.
He does.
That's true.
He does.
That dude likes to stir it up.
I like it. He's in my list. Let me tell you, he's in my Destiny people list. He's in there.
I'm going to remind everybody to please watch Firing Range this week. It was an awesome episode. It's great to hear from Bungie about what they're planning for the next season of weapon upgrades and abilities. Yep. Also, if you remember everybody's favorite Wilson, he was on Retro Slot last week, so check out that one. It was awfully great to hear from Wilson. He is doing all sorts of cool stuff with modding retro consoles. I just got a care package from him today. It was like Christmas
mail.
Can I real quick just?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, all right.
Go for it.
Wilson's been so good at this stuff.
I got the box here, right?
Don't show your address, Brian.
I'll try not to. Look at that. This is a RGB modded, so it's got amazing output on a Super Nintendo. He fixed my TurboGrafx.
Nice.
And he sent me a top secret book of codes.
Wow.
Nice.
That should come in handy.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Full of internet.
You mind if I mention something real quick?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Next week, in the morning and the evenings, we're doing a charity raid-a-thon with like a bunch of people from the community for St. Jude, for St. Jude Play Live. So it'll be like 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Pacific on both ends. And just a bunch of your favorite streamers from the community, basically donate to make it harder for us to finish raids and eat bean boozles and just punish us and all sorts of stuff. It's good fun, raising money for a good cause.
Yeah,
Awesome.
go watch Jay give money to a great cause. Also watch funny things happen. It's only win-win.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us this evening or whenever you're listening to this podcast, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week in the deep.
Bye.
Oh yeah, SideQuest is back on Monday. We're going to talk about how Blizzard dropped the ball. Woo!
With Ferrari Marabella.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.